I think Twitter is going to go where the experiments tell them to. Some things will work, some things won't. It sounds like they're taking a lot of concepts from a lot of different platforms. They're going to spend way more time on your platform, which is going to make it more popular and help Elon generate some of his investment back.
All right, so we are going to talk about how Twitter is doubling down on creators, and we'll jump into it.
Yeah, I think Twitter is going to go where the experiments tell them to. So they're running a lot of tests. It sounds like they're taking a lot of concepts from a lot of different platforms, Patreon, and start leveraging some of the other financial models. See if you can end up monetizing better for creators, because if you can monetize better for creators and give them incentives, what are they going to do? They're going to spend way more time on your platform, which is going to make it more popular and help Elon generate some of his investment back. Yeah, I look at Twitter as they're just going to run a ton of experiments. Like, it's going to be a whole bag of tricks. They're going to whip them out and they're going to see which ones work and which ones don't. And I think that's smart, not because it's Elon. Of course, he's done really well in life, but in business, a lot of times, none of us know the right answers. If you want to copy someone else, that's fine. But if you really want to do well, you got to be willing to test and experiment and try new things and be open to failing. Some things will work, some things won't. And what I think he's trying to make Twitter, and he did mention this in the past, is an end-all, be-all platform. I think it was like, was it WeChat or WePay or something like that, where you can do transactions and you can do everything on Twitter. I don't know if it'll go down to that path, but what I do think he'll end up doing is figuring out how to make it more of a community. Before Elon, Twitter was just a place where you release some tweets. Every once in a while, you can do some videos that you push up, but it's more so a place to get information and converse with others. And what we found, at least in our industry, and it can vary in other industries, but in our industry, a lot of it is more intellectual, educational based type content versus like, check out a picture of my family and I. And I'm not saying they're getting away from that. I think they still have that. But what they're also adding in is all the other aspects that make social communities popular. So that way they can get a bigger slice of the market.
So Elon is trying to make Twitter into this super app. So to Neil's point, it could be like a WeChat, figure out new ideas and new angles while open to being wrong. And so he might seem immature on Twitter at times, but at the end of the day, the guy's a great product guy, and he will try to do what he can to make Twitter a place where people want to hang out more. Their creator incentives right now are really good, where if Neil creates like a subscription or I create a subscription, they're not going to take any money for a while too. So that's pretty incentivizing.
One thing to keep in mind is, if you haven't seen the BBC interview of Elon, you should check it out. He talks to the BBC interviewer about misinformation. The BBC interview says like, oh, there's a lot more hate on Twitter. And Elon asked him for examples, and the guy couldn't produce examples. And Elon's like, yeah, you're lying. And most people took that as like, oh, Elon just, burned the BBC guy. I didn't look at it that way. And sure, there's also that viewpoint. But what I took at it as, Elon was genuinely curious on what was the hate speech, because I believed when I was listening to it, he was like, oh, cool, what is it? I want to know so I can try to solve it. And the second point is, Mark Cuban recently tweeted out saying that his reach isn't as good, or he's not getting as many likes or retweets or whatever you want to end up calling it. And Elon also stated somewhere, I forgot where I read this, where like, yeah, the reach also isn't as good, digging into it and trying to figure out why. Like, he's actually taking the criticism that people are giving to try to improve the platform. If someone said, hey, there's a ton of hate speech, and you can show him, and it's factual, it's not opinionated, I believe he would actually try to solve it. I think that's very unique with a lot of these social platforms. Most of them just try to do what is producing the most income. Yes, he is trying to monetize and figure out how to make more money from the platform other than just ads. But what's interesting is he's also a creator himself and a brand. he's actually working on both aspects, in which he still wants the brands to get the reach. He still wants them to use the platform because people see their content and engage with it, which is kind of interesting. If you look at most social platforms, they've cramped down the reach so that way people have to spend money on advertising. Elon's trying to figure out other unique ways to monetize and not cram down the reach so that way people just have to be forced to advertise.
And by the way, we don't want to make this like a Elon or celebratory Elon podcast. It's not about that. At the end of the day, it's about how can you iterate on your product. That's a whole nother podcast. But that is it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, and we will see you later.
Now, if you have any questions, leave a comment below. I'm here to answer them and help you out. If you enjoyed the video, like it, share it, tell people about it. Thank you very much.